XRP to $25, then a massive crash? Here's what the latest analysis is saying, and it's got everyone talking. Let's break it down. First off, the idea of XRP ETFs getting approved isn't just speculation anymore. It feels more like an inevitability. In fact, multiple firms are lined up to launch XRP ETFs, and it could happen sooner than you think. Imagine this: a bull market, prices skyrocketing, and then bam, ETF approval fueling a major surge. Could it align perfectly with this market cycle? It's possible, but here's the kicker. What goes up must come down. Analysts are predicting a potential 90% crash after the rally. Wild, right? We might be in a consolidation phase now, but it's clear big moves are on the horizon. Sometimes all it takes is one piece of exciting news to set XRP ablaze. It could be anything, a catalyst that finally pushes it over the edge, like the straw that breaks the camel's back. And when that moment comes, I fully believe XRP is going to explode to the upside, breaking into uncharted territory and melting faces along the way. We've seen it happen before with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other crypto assets. It's the natural cycle. The market gets euphoric, prices inflate into bubble territory, and then comes the crash. Will it drop 70%, 80%, or even 90%? Who knows? But that crash will bring new opportunities just like it always does. Here's the plan. When XRP soars, I'll sell some, knowing full well the price may never drop to today's levels again. And that's okay. I'll reinvest at whatever level I can afford because I believe in the long-term potential. Moments like this aren't far-fetched. XRP's current price may seem humble now, but with the right spark, it could ignite into something extraordinary. I honestly believe we're still in for an incredible run, even if the timing doesn't line up perfectly. Like, even if we see an alt season first and the ETF approval comes much later, it's still going to be okay. That said, I do think this ETF news has the potential to be a major catalyst. It could really set things off. There's just so much to be optimistic about. Think about it. The amount of money that could flow into XRP over the coming years, even decades, is massive. It's hard to overstate how much of a game changer this could be. The supply and demand dynamics for XRP would shift significantly. If people start buying an ETF backed by XRP, that means the firm managing it has to literally buy and hold XRP. The customer may just own the ETF itself, but behind the scenes, XRP is being purchased. On top of that, XRP has already been recognized by the market as an early winner in the crypto space. At this point, it's undeniable. XRP has already proven itself. We're just waiting for the rest of the world to catch up. The adoption, the utility, the fundamentals, they've been getting stronger and stronger. And we've been seeing that throughout 2024, since the election, and really throughout this year. Things have just been looking better and better for crypto enthusiasts. It's so exciting to see. Now let's dive into this. On Tuesday, Polymarket data showed that the likelihood of the US Securities and Exchange Commission, SECD, approving a spot XRP exchange traded fund, ETF, in 2025 shot up to an incredible 98%. When I saw that, my jaw literally dropped. I knew it was high before. Last time I checked, it was around 80%, but I hadn't seen an update in a few weeks. To see it now at 98.2%, wow. And let me tell you, Polymarket's odds are usually spot on. At this point, it feels like a virtual certainty that this approval is happening. The tides have clearly shifted. America isn't anti-crypto anymore, especially with how the election played out. It's just amazing to see this progress, and I couldn't be more thrilled. So here's the deal. There's a lot happening with XRP right now. Multiple big players like Bitwise, Grayscale, Franklin Templeton, and 21 Shares have filed for spot XRP ETFs, putting serious pressure on the SEC. Why? Because the demand for regulated XRP investment options is huge. Here's something to think about. If we're talking altcoins, not Bitcoin, XRP has the most companies filing for an ETF by far. And let's be real, they're not doing this just for fun. They're doing it because the demand is there. Now, if I'm remembering right, Solana is probably second on this list with around 6 or 7 firms filing for a Solana ETF. But XRP, at least 11 firms are in the mix. That says a lot, doesn't it? You're definitely not alone in thinking XRP just makes sense. The rest of the world is slowly catching on. But honestly, as I've said before, it's already won. Look at what's happening. The launch of XRP futures ETFs by CME Group on May 19th hit 19 million in trading volume on its very first day. That's a big deal. It shows real market maturity and strong institutional interest, addressing the SEC's concerns about regulated derivatives market. And yes, folks, that's a massive demand for a brand new product. And it's in futures, not even spot trading. Incredible, right? On top of that, 3 different companies have announced plans to invest over 471 million in XRP treasuries. This includes Webis International's 300 million XRP strategic reserve, which they even filed with the SEC. All this highlights growing corporate adoption and increasing trust from institutions. Hey everyone. So in my last video, I shared some exciting news, but guess what? We've got an even bigger update now, outside of Ripple, of course. A publicly traded company from Singapore is launching a massive 500 million XRP reserve. How cool is that? The company's name is Trident something. Oh, it's escaping me right now, but I did mention it in my earlier video. This is huge, especially since it's in addition to the 4 other publicly traded companies that announced their XRP reserves back in May. And here's the kicker. Not only are these companies using XRP as a strategic reserve, but they're also leveraging it for various applications. Like I said before, this trend keeps growing. In fact, a few other publicly traded companies have been setting up their own XRP reserves since December of last year. Let me tell you, folks, they wouldn't be doing this if they weren't absolutely confident that XRP is going to be worth much, much more in the future. Otherwise, they'd just be burning through their capital, right? But they know where the real opportunity lies. Keeping funds in fiat currencies, which lose value over time, no matter the country, isn't the way to go. Instead, if you got the guts, you put it into crypto. Because let's be honest, the crypto market just keeps expanding. Now, here's the exciting part. Ripple's legal clarity after the SEC dropped its lawsuit in March has boosted market confidence. And while the SEC has delayed some filings, other factors like the success of the CME futures market and solid corporate strategies have pushed Polymarket's approval odds from 68% in April to an impressive 98% by early June. People are expecting approvals by December 31st. Here's the kicker. If these approvals go through, they could unlock massive institutional capital, increasing demand for XRP and potentially driving its price much higher. Some analysts are even predicting a price of $50, especially if big players like BlackRock get involved. Okay, so the idea of XRP hitting $50 at some point in the future, honestly, not crazy at all. That concept feels pretty realistic to me. Now, I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen. This isn't a price prediction, but in the world of crypto, things like that are absolutely possible. And with XRP proving itself as a winner time and time again, if we don't set a specific time frame, wouldn't you lean toward eventually, yeah, it could happen? Adoption is growing, folks, not just for crypto as a whole, but especially for XRP. You've got to love to see it. It couldn't be more obvious, right? Oh, and check this out. There's a new article out about XRP and Solana being poised for takeoff thanks to surging institutional demand. Yep, that's correct. Volatility in crypto markets is definitely rising, but smart money is starting to focus on major tokens with strong on-chain ecosystems. For example, on Thursday, crypto markets were shaken by renewed military action in the Middle East, with Israel's reported airstrikes on Iran triggering a broader risk-off move. So yeah, things are shifting, but it's clear that tokens like XRP are still catching the attention of big players. Let's talk about this for a second. While Bitcoin and other major assets dipped during early Asian hours, some cryptocurrencies like XRP and Solana are still riding the wave of institutional interest, according to analysts. And honestly, no surprise there. XRP has been recognized globally as a major player. It's already proven itself, and now it feels like the price is just catching up to its true value. I still believe XRP's price would have been much higher if it hadn't been for that lawsuit the US government filed against Ripple. That whole situation really threw a wrench in things, but the world is moving forward and it's great to see things stabilizing. Now, here's something exciting. There's talk about BlackRock potentially filing for an XRP ETF in the future. Nate Geraci, president of the ETF store, recently shared a post about this, and he definitely knows his stuff. This is something I've been saying for years. It's not surprising, but it's great to see these conversations happening on a larger scale. A couple of years ago, I was saying BlackRock's coming. There's going to be a Bitcoin ETF, and now here we are. Back then, I also thought one day they'll go for an XRP ETF too, and now it seems so obvious, especially since firms have officially started filing for XRP ETFs. I even mentioned this last year. Do you really think BlackRock is just going to sit back and let competitors take all the trading revenue and profits? We're talking about BlackRock here, the largest asset manager in the world with 11 trillion under management. There's no way they'd let others dominate that space. Nate Geraci seems to have come to the same common sense conclusion I did. Just the other day, he pointed out that he fully expects BlackRock to file for spot ETFs for Solana and XRP too. As a leader in spot, Bitcoin, and ETFs, it wouldn't make much sense for BlackRock to let competitors take over other top crypto asset ETF categories, right? On that note, I fully expect BlackRock to file for index-based crypto asset ETFs soon. And yes, XRP will definitely be part of that. If we're talking about a multi-coin asset pack, basically what an index-based ETF would be, you can bet XRP is going to be included. That also means XRP will need to be purchased, which is great news all around. And here's something interesting from CoinCentral. Grayscale's crypto fund, which includes XRP, might get ETF approval ahead of Solana. Nate Geraci, president of the ETF store, believes this fund, including XRP and Cardano, has a good shot at being first in line for approval. It's becoming pretty clear where this is all headed. And yes, multiple XRP ETFs look likely. This is the world he's deeply immersed in, so he's no stranger to what's coming. He actually suspects the Grayscale Digital Large Cap Fund might get approved first. That fund is a multi-coin basket. It's essentially an index that includes Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, and Cardano. It's an interesting thought because if he's right, the first approval of XRP in a spot ETF might not be standalone. Instead, it could happen as part of a multi-coin index. And honestly, that's fine. No complaints here. I'd still be thrilled to see that. But I'd be even more excited when the SEC starts approving individual XRP ETFs from different firms. I'm telling you, once the ball starts rolling, we're going to see tons of these ETFs getting the green light. The amount of money that could flow into XRP over time is going to be incredible. The demand is there, and here's why. XRP is a deflationary asset. It's finite. If you're holding XRP right now, you're seriously lucky to be here early. The quantities of XRP that many of us hold today could be nearly impossible to get in the future once the price shoots up. It's just the reality. When XRP's value climbs, those amounts will be out of reach for the average person. But right now, the opportunity is still here, and it's one that could truly change your life. It's such an exciting time to be an XRP holder. After everything we've been through over the past several years, it feels like we're finally being validated. The fundamentals just keep getting stronger. And honestly, I feel so confident about where this is heading. While I'm not making specific price predictions, I do believe with near certainty that XRP adoption will keep growing. And when that happens, the price is bound to go way, way up compared to where it is now. Don't you think it's reasonable to suspect this? I mean, it's so obvious. XRP is here to stay. It's a winner, plain and simple. If it weren't, do you really think all these massive institutions and big names would be pouring money into it left and right? Here's the thing. I mentioned this in a video recently, but I want to bring it up again because it's important. And someone was speaking with one of the top 5 banks. I can't remember exactly who or which bank off the top of my head, but we're talking major ones like Bank of America, JP Morgan, Citigroup, US Bank, and so on. These are huge players, and the fact that they're engaging with XRP speaks volumes. One of the largest banks in the world recently weighed in, and they mentioned the big 4 in crypto: Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and Solana. Everything else, they said, falls outside of that group. Let that sink in. This is coming from one of the biggest banks on the planet. They're essentially saying XRP has already solidified its place, and honestly, it couldn't be more clear. And yet, look at XRP's price right now. It's incredible. It's the kind of moment I dreamed about when I got into crypto back in 2017. And now it's actually happening. It's wild to see it all unfold like this. Just a reminder, though, I'm not a financial advisor. Don't make any buying or selling decisions based on what I say. Always do your own research.